My name is Abby, I'm 24, I work on the ramp as a ramp agent for an airline, so I get flight benefits. So don't go thinking that this video was fully funded by me, okay? I recently moved out and a lot of other things have been going. Why do I have lip gloss in my pocket? I found this on the ramp. I've become everything I've wanted to be by the age of 24. I know that's a lofty thing to say because I'm not out here living for other people. I'm out here living for what my 12-year-old self would think. I genuinely feel like 12-year-old me would be scared of me today, or she would be intimidated, but either way she would want to get my autograph because I've done everything that I kind of have wanted to do. One of the things I wanted to do for a very long time has been to swim in a warm ocean, and I never have gotten to because it's just honestly flight training. I've been in flight training for the past 4 to 5 years and trying to do college on the side, and all of that kind of accounts to, even though you work for an airline, you never actually go anywhere. Costa Rica is a fantastic place if you want to go to adventure and to explore. It maybe isn't for people who want to vacation because there's very different types of traveling. There's vacation, and then there's traveling. Traveling's like, you might have to sleep in the airport. You might stay in a hostel to save money, which is what we did the whole entire trip. You might be going to a different city every 2 or 3 days, which is what we did. Ultimately, I really love our trip because we got to go from the west side to the east side. We got to see 2 oceans, and I've dreamed of seeing the Caribbean forever. It delivered in every single way possible, but I think I was down bad because I was cold in the Caribbean. It was everything I imagined and everything I dreamed of. But the first time I went to go swimming a little bit. Our second day, I believe that we were there. I can't lie to you. It was a little bit cold, and I told Ali, I was like, yeah, like this is a little bit cold. And she was kind of like, are you kidding me? Are you joking with me? But I'm really happy because I feel like we got to see really well the west and east side of Costa Rica. I'm not familiar with the north and the south borders, but I feel like the west through the central to the east, I have a pretty good picture of it because we went to Limon, we went to San Jose, we went to Liberia. We started in Liberia actually, so we got to see the capital. We also did a free walking tour in San Jose, which was super informative. It will be linked below with any other links I mentioned. That will all be linked down below. It was my first time staying in hostels. It was not Alejandra's first time, but Damaris and I, it was our first time, and it was like I expected it to be. It kind of feels a little bit like a college dorm, but smaller. The cool thing is though, you're not really home very often. Like for us, we're always out on the city exploring pretty much. The only time we were home was when one night we decided to cook a community meal at the community kitchens outside, and also there was an outdoor shower, which was really fun. We saved a lot of money by doing that because per night it was about $20 or $5 or $7 compared to 50 or up at hotels. And also you have to look at the pricing if it's colons or USD. If it's USD, it's going to be more money. So we did hostels and we did bus rides, and the bus rides were definitely something that mainly locals and backpackers were doing as well. I do feel like I have a pretty good sense of the culture because especially in Liberia, you know, you're there doing life with mothers and labor workers and with teenagers, and you're immersed in the culture. You're there. They're speaking Spanish to you, and because they can't swap to English because some of them didn't even know English because they're not like the main tourism area. And then when we went to the more touristy places, I was kind of like, you would go to San Jose and they would speak Spanish to Alejandra, and then they would look at Damaris and I, and they would immediately swap to English. And I'm like, I see that code swap and I respect that code swapping. I see you like going like that. Even as a tourist, even as a gringa, one of the ways I realized that people would like me, or they would like my sister and I, because we were obviously not Latina, is the fact that we would kind of like squeal and get very excited every time they brought food out to our table. We were hungry, we were walking a lot, okay, multiple times where the waitress would come to the table and ask how everything was going, and I like didn't even notice. I'd be like shoveling food in my face, and I would only look up to like smile or say gracias or whatever and get back to it. They really love that. And another way is just try to speak a little bit of Spanish and speak fast, blur it together a bit, smile, be confident. This also applies to Romanian. Sometimes I'll just kind of blur the Romanian together a little bit when I talk to an elder. So that was 2 tips that I noticed. Just be very grateful for the food and speak it fast. If you don't know the particular Spanish word, speak it faster. I would be mixing a lot of Romanian with Spanish, which didn't make it easier. I would go to order un café con leche for Damaris, and then I would say un café cu lapte, por favor. So I would start the whole thing was in Romanian, and then the end was in Spanish. Like, I would do that a lot, but it was just really funny because people are just happy to hear you speaking their mother tongue, and it is only a sign of respect to me personally, because their country runs off of tourism. A lot of tourism is something that really genuinely surprised me. The fact that they didn't hate our guts as tourists. They genuinely were nice to us and happy that we were there and happy to see us. And I didn't really expect that. And I didn't expect how happy everybody actually was. So they work, they go home, and they spend time with their family, and they just live their life. They don't sacrifice their whole entire being for a job or for a corporation. I know that people told me that it would be like that, and I was expecting it, but I wasn't expecting it quite to that degree and quite to that level. So that was really surprising to me, because even though maybe we come in there and we think, oh, we have all this money and we can afford to eat out all the time every day, I'm looking around like, yo, y'all are happy. Y'all are just like loving on your families and loving life and just spending your days off at the beach, and genuinely they're a very happy population. That's the majority of what I saw in every town we went to. As I mentioned before, we went from the west to the east. I owe all of the planning to Damaris and Alejandro. I'm not even going to lie. And it worked out very well, because a lot of the time we would have days that were full of activity, and then we would have a chill day where we would just go to the city or do the walking tour or just go to the beach, heal our sunburns a little bit, and then we would have an action-packed day again. So that was how we scheduled it, how they scheduled it, I should say. And the tours were amazing because the tours would serve food, free lunch, and let me tell y'all, a very common theme in Costa Rica was we would sit down and think, okay, it's gonna be this. And then it would always go above and beyond, and it made you really feel like you were above your tax bracket, because you come back to North America, and if I can go off for a second, you pay $15 for like a panini that's vegan, and it's this big, and it doesn't have hot sauce. And I'm like, I'm upset, Lord.
This is me ordering just a little bit of food. Look at the size of that thing. Yes. Ooh.
Things would go above and beyond. Like, you would think, oh, I paid this price, I'm gonna get about this much food, right? But then you would actually pay this much, and then you would get this much food. And it was amazing because your expectations were constantly being met and exceeded. So for colons and Costa Rican money, it's colons, not pesos. So we noticed that it was roughly a third cheaper. So for example, if something here is $15 and you get this much, in Costa Rica it would be about $5 USD, and then you would get this much. So you would also get more, and it would be higher quality food. I didn't have stomach issues the whole time I was in Costa Rica. Yo, hear this message I'm about to preach, and please don't judge me for it. I came back
the day we landed in LAX,
and I got rice and beans from the Delta Sky Club. My stomach hurt. I was upset. I verbally squealed when our tour guide brought out the 100% dark cacao, and I don't take it back. The Welsh daughter and her dad, they were seated right next to me. They were like laughing, bro. They were laughing so hard at me. And it was 100%. A lot of people didn't like it because it was more bitter, but I was like, I'll take more to the tour guide. And then he was laughing at me, and I was like, you know, like, it's okay. It was pure from the source. I've never had that in my life. Trader Joe's could never. Whole Foods could never. Volcano Arenal was near La Fortuna. First of all, stop. First of all, stop. This isn't real. None of it's real. Are you kidding me? You're trying to tell me that this Wind Waker, Legend of Zelda, Kingdom Hearts looking place is real? No. No.
How is that real? That looks like a video game.
You roll up in the bus, and I woke up. We were a little
bit bus sick on that ride,
and we're like, what is this place? Are you kidding me? This isn't real, because it's the whole way that it's like the little church steeple that's all white, and then the palm trees, and then the volcano, and you're like, no, this isn't, it's not real. What? Eating rice and beans every day for most of my life did prepare me for this trip, because let me tell y'all something. This gringa did not get food poisoning, neither did Damaris, my sister. Actually, we did very well with all the local cuisine, and one cool thing about Costa Rica is, and you can drink the tap water. This was a win for me, yo, because I'm spoiled. I live in Oregon, so our air is very clean and beautiful, and our water is very clean and beautiful, and you can drink our tap water, hose water. I'm a hose water baby, born and bred. What you mean you can't tell? What you mean you can't tell? But I am a budget Barbie. I will say one thing, rice and beans not only saves you money, it prepares you to travel. Who would have thought? I mean, I don't know about Europe. I haven't been to Europe. I wouldn't know. The food was very good, and the food was something that I'm very used to eating already, because that is kind of just my lifestyle. In Costa Rica, it was cool because It was bad. It was bad because the food was very good. It was very cheap. And you just walk and go to a cafe, get a cafe. You do all of these things. Cafe, I said the Romanian word for coffee. And you get very used to buying out for every meal because you can. Because it wasn't expensive. And the thing is, that's beautiful and amazing, but it also makes you feel weird because you're in a different tax bracket and a different income level when you travel, depending on where you travel. If we would have gone to the Middle East, if we would have gone to Europe, we would have been poor or around the same that we are here in North America, which is students, right? But of course, I was afraid of getting spoiled. I did get a little bit spoiled. I didn't get a whole lot of footage of the food because we ate it before I could get genuinely. Breakfast traditional, excuse my nose being stuffed. The traditional breakfast was rice and beans and fried plantains, and so good. I'm doing T-Rex arms. That's how you know. And tortillas, but not every place served it with tortillas, and then this queso dip, but it was unlike any queso I've ever had. That's why I actually asked Claudia what it was, because my gringa, I didn't know it was cheese. It didn't taste like cheese. It tasted like the consistency of sour cream, but the taste of cheese, if that makes sense. I was super excited because a lot of them didn't have leche de almendez, which is almond milk, but alternative milk is not too common. Your girl, like any hot girl, any Barbie being, any hot girl of this nation, I have kind of stomach issues. I don't really do dairy very often, if ever, so I didn't have almond or coconut milk until later into our trip, but it was good because I was trying to do a coffee detox. Jamaican Caribbean food is very largely vegan, not in a gimmicky way, just because that's like how they eat. That's just how they eat naturally. In the Caribbean, it was just very common to eat plant-based, so they don't charge you extra for avocado. I heard an amen hallelujah when I ate that meal. I was like, finally, God. Years of being plant-based. Years of being plant-based.
The first time in my life I
was not charged for extra avocado. That is testimony. It is as beautiful as I thought it would be. It was humid, it was friendly, it was a lot cheaper to be able to just go out and do things, but a couple things did surprise me, and the first one is how friendly people were that I mentioned. I was genuinely so surprised that they meant it. I was surprised that they had the patience to answer the tourist questions. I was surprised that they could listen to our terrible Spanish and still smile and not mock us. I was very surprised that I wasn't as worried about the humidity. I'm gonna be honest, the humidity didn't bother me. The bugs didn't bother me too much because it reminds me of camping. I grew up camping a lot, not really in hotels or anything like that, or resorts. I grew up camping a lot. So what happens is you start to get into this pace of life where you go back on your natural circadian rhythm. So when the sun is up, I would be up. When the sun sets, you're tired and you want to go to bed. The first couple days especially, we woke up at like 4 a.m. For Claudia and I, that kind of makes sense because we are on the AM shift at the airport, and you know, you're on holiday, you're excited, you want to get up and go do things and explore the city. But it was more, we were just on nature's clock, whereas in North America, well, especially in Oregon, our sun, we don't have as much sun, so it's harder to regulate your internal clock, your body clock. It felt like camping, and we would just explore and adventure every single day. I'm going to end with the fact that you should definitely go if you like hot weather and if you like more adventurous type things when you travel. Also, one of the main reasons we decided to go was because of COVID restrictions. So Ronita came in, changed the world, turned it upside down, Bel Air style. But I recommend Costa Rica just because it has so much of the world's biodiversity. That was one of the reasons we decided. It's insane, and it's in a relatively small area. It's not a huge country. Number two, the Spanish is beautiful. I love Latin culture and I love Spanish and I love the food. All of us do. So we're like, why would we not go to Central America? Of course, why not? Number three, it was very open with COVID restrictions and there wasn't any quarantine required. We were all fully vaccinated, boosted up and all of that. So it worked out very well for us. We just had to pay $60 for COVID re-entry test exam fee, and that was actually at the airport. It all worked out very well, and links for that will be down below. And the fourth reason we decided to go and why I think you should go too is it is a very adventurous place. It's very fun if you're a young person or an older person, or if you are like us where you like to do things on your holiday. Let your girl know if there is any pilot jobs, hiring a commercial pilot in Costa Rica or Central America. They actually normally only hire local pilots to the area, and I really respect that because again, it's a way that they respect their culture. Pura vida is very true and very prevalent, and it's very beautiful the way that they respect tourists, but they're also kind of like, we're here for our people, you know, like we're gonna respect our culture. So I'm a peace out, pura vida, and hello. I know I look like a Barbie in this outfit, but let me tell y'all something. This is a twin mattress that doesn't have a sheet right now because I had to film this video. But yeah, I was anyways raised on hose water. It's still on my clothes.
Your sweaty smell.
No, it smells like my swimsuit. It smells like rich soil. You know what I mean? It was a moment. It was a moment where I was, oh, okay, Abby. Like I admit my failings and I admit this blemish in my life.
What was that? Just like back up so I can get to my stuff.
Why did you treat me like a wild animal?
Like move.
That you were cold in the Caribbean. In the Caribbean. Stop. Heal yourself. Seek the Lord, because it is actually summer because you're in the southern hemisphere. So it's summer for them. So you were cold in a Costa Rican summer. You're done. You're done. Stop. And ironically enough, we actually got snow in April. ADHD is a really great ride. Anyways, body built by rice and bean. Like, not to flex, but my arm development has looked amazing considering I do go try to bench press more than the men in the section. I do that. Genuinely. As I mentioned before, we went hello. You know the way your mother smacks you when you're not behaving as a kid? That's the same way the ocean, like I'd be doing something in the ocean would be like, you fool, why are you trying to do this? And it just like slaps you around. So the ocean definitely seems like a maternal instinct to me. It definitely seems like motherly in that sense. I'm upset that the Silk Road was made for no reason because y'all colonized places, didn't use their spices. Shame on you. Shame on the white people. Shame on Wamani Blanca. Makes her reading in Spanish again. I know that is a lofty thing to say from somebody who can't do her eyebrows correctly or even get foundation that matches. I was trying to use it up, okay? It's old, so if you see that it doesn't, I'm trying to use it up before I buy another one because I'm a thrifty woman. Because I have lived on the West Coast my whole life and I was pale. This gringa got a tan, but it faded very quickly. Also, going into that, I don't got an OnlyFans. This whole video is a mess. I'm sorry. I do have a Patreon though. I've recently started that. The link will be down below and you can just enjoy that. Enjoy it.